Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by green fields and dusty roads, there lived a young boy named Armin. Armin had a dream bigger than the size of his world. He wanted to become a great architect and build houses that would stand for years, houses that would make people smile when they walked in. But there was a problem. Armin came from a poor family. His father worked as a farmer, and his mother sold vegetables in the market. They barely had enough money to buy food, let alone pay for special studies. Armin knew his dream would not be easy to reach. But something inside him whispered every morning, "Take one step today. Even a small step counts." So, he started by reading old books from the village library. The pages were worn out and some drawings were faded, but he studied them as if they were treasures. At night, when everyone slept, he sat under a dim lamp and copied the designs into his small notebook. One day, while he was sketching a simple house, his friend Samir laughed and said, "Armin, why waste your time? People like us don't become architects. We work in the fields just like our fathers." Armin smiled quietly. He didn't argue. Deep down, he knew Samir was wrong. Dreams didn't come true overnight, but every small step made them closer. Months passed. Armin kept improving his skills little by little. He learned how to measure lines using a broken ruler, how to imagine shapes in his mind before drawing them. He saved coins by helping his father after school, and whenever he had enough, he bought pencils and paper. They were small investments, but to Armin, they felt like bricks of his future. One summer, a construction company came to the village to build a new school. Armin watched the workers for hours, observing how they measured land, laid bricks, and shaped walls. He wanted to be part of it, but he was just a boy. Still, he gathered courage and asked the site manager, "Can I help you?" The manager laughed at first, but after seeing Armin's interest, he agreed to let him carry tools and clean the area. It wasn't the work Armin dreamed of, but it brought him close to what he loved. Every evening, he went home tired but happy. He had learned something new each day: how to mix cement, how to read basic building plans, how to use simple tools. He was slowly turning his dream into a reality, step by step. Then came the hardest time. His father fell sick, and Armin had to leave school to work in the fields full time. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The dream that once felt close now seemed far away. There were nights when he wanted to give up, when the weight of reality crushed his spirit. But whenever he looked at his old notebook filled with sketches, something in his heart refused to die. One rainy afternoon, while selling vegetables with his mother, Armin met an old man named Mr. Rafik. He was a retired architect visiting the village. He noticed Armin's sketches lying on the table under the vegetables, protected by a plastic sheet. Curious, he asked to see them. As he flipped through the pages, his eyes widened. "Who made these?" he asked. "I did," Armin replied softly. Mr. Rafik smiled and said, "These are good, very good. You have talent, boy, but talent needs guidance. Would you like to learn more about architecture from me?" Armin could hardly believe his ears. That day, his life took another small step forward. Mr. Rafik gave him free lessons twice a week. Teach him how to use professional tools, how to design different types of buildings, and even how to apply for scholarships. Years passed. The road was still full of challenges, long hours of study, rejections from colleges, days without enough money. But Armin kept walking. Every small effort built a stronger foundation for his dream. Eventually, he won a scholarship to a city college. It was the first time he left his village, carrying only a small bag, his notebook, and the word his father once told him: "The seed grows slowly, but one day it becomes a tree." In college, Armin worked part-time jobs to cover his living expenses. He spent late nights in the library, early mornings at construction sites, and weekends designing models. There were times when failure knocked on his door, a project that didn't work, a design rejected by a professor, or a competition he didn't win. But Armin remembered the path he had walked. Giving up now would mean throwing away years of steps, and he refused to do that. After many years of patience, learning, and hard work, Armin graduated as one of the top students in his class. He received an offer to work in a well-known architecture firm. It was not just a job. It was proof that his small steps had led him to his big dream. Years later, Armin returned to his village, not as a poor farmer's son, but as an architect. He built a new school for the children, so they would have better opportunities than he once had. Standing in front of the completed building, he smiled. The journey had been long and full of struggles, but every small effort had shaped his success.